Hello, everybody. This is Gareth Cahoon Speaks back here with another way England's going mad, or the United Kingdom as a whole, should I say. I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next post. Or otherwise, you can donate to my ministry and the charities that I support at garethcahoon3@gmail.com on PayPal. And if you'd like a list of the charities, I'd be happy to supply you with them. And also, you can look me up on my other social media accounts like X uh, and YouTube. And especially in YouTube, you'll be able to see my created playlists and the videos that get banned from other social media sites. This one here is about, is the UK demand to observe Ramadan just the beginning? One of the greatest benefits of living in Western society is the freedom it brings, allowing each person to make their own choices and live according to the convictions that work best for them. But what happens when that society becomes unduly influenced by foreign newcomers who have decided that their way of life should dictate how the local population lives? Should they be allowed to impose their culture and faith on others who already made up their mind on those issues long ago? Shockingly, that is what is happening in the United Kingdom, where under the guise of solidarity with Muslim colleagues, the West Midlands Police non-Muslim staff are being encouraged to fast for Ramadan. A one-day participation in a month-long fast is being paired with a fundraiser for an undisclosed charity not yet decided upon. Its promoters selling it as a way to learn the significance of religious festivals of Muslims and being a unifying factor, are also pitching the idea to other non-Muslim employees elsewhere in the public sector, including at local councils. But here's the question. While participation into this request may not be mandatory, what happens when you choose to opt out? How will that lack of solidarity be interpreted by your fellow Muslim officers or the higher ups who are promoting this as a goodwill gesture? In some ways, it's like voting in the open. You're free to choose your preferred candidate, but everyone will know your choice. At least one individual saw this for the massive invasion of privacy and intrusion into the religious liberties of non-Muslims, who would almost assuredly never entertain the idea for one moment, short of feeling that the gesture is expected of them in order to be perceived as all-embracing. The Secretary of State for Justice, Nick Timothy, has had the courage to call this out for what it is, wholly inappropriate, arguing that expectations should be uniform across the service, as he called for the abolition of public sector equality duty, which requires public bodies to weigh equality considerations in their decisions. While statistics show that Muslims make up only a little over 4% of the West Midlands police force, one might question why, given such a small minority, would this type of bizarre and intrusive request be made by other officers who have another religious affiliation or none at all? It could be connected to the fact that Birmingham is the largest city in the West Midlands. It's comprised of a population where nearly 30% identify as Muslim. Let's not forget that this is the same police force which recommended barring Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from attending a UEFA Europe League match which took place in November 2025, based on skewed evidence which had been deliberately compiled in a way that would make it appear as if a dangerous outcome would result by allowing those fans to be present. In the end, the chief constable was forced to apologise for the deceptive findings amounting to blatant anti-Semitism that forbid entrance to Jewish fans. And if one were at least a bit conscious or suspicious, they might goes so far as to make a connection between what seems to be obvious bias against Jews and the preferential treatment which is being afforded to the one-third sector of Birmingham's Muslim residents. Perhaps this is why what is being touted as a voluntary invitation to the public workers feels more like an ominous preview of things to come. After all, if non-Muslim Brits capitulate to the request of joining a Ramadan fast, what to stop an appeal to taking part in one of the 5 Muslim calls to prayer, requiring participants to carry their own mat for the purpose of kneeling? Where does it end? The moment that British citizens feel compelled to acquiescence to the demands of another culture that is brazenly taking over, replacing native customs and norms with their own rituals and practices, that's when the courage to refuse begins to dissipate. The fear of being regarded as intolerant or, heaven forbid, an Islamophobe will overpower the bravery needed to speak out and refuse to take part in an observance that is not in keeping with one's personally held beliefs. It is a sort it is a soft use of coercion designed to entrap the West by appealing to the virtue of sharing common goals and employing mutual support and respect for their new neighbours, because a more forceful approach would be met with immediate refusal to comply. Constantly, this warm invitation is meant to sound like a friendly bidding that fosters inclusion and integration, 2 things which appear to promote good relations and closer ties. But isn't it really just a clever way to get unsuspected non-Muslims to slowly be introduced to Islam? History has shown us that with what sometimes starts with a cordial appeal ends up with harsh anger, as occurred in the case of Martin Luther, who, although was friendly towards Jews, bitterly turned against them when they refused to convert to Christianity. Reporting, Resorting to punitive measures and harsh persecution of Jews, Luther sought to eliminate Jewish communal life by seizing property, imposing manual labour, burning synagogues, and more. True freedom is not tested by the demand to participate in your neighbour's religion in order to check out one's level of respect and goodwill towards them. The ideology of live and let live is best expressed by freely allowing each individual to conduct their daily lives based on the values, beliefs, and ethics by which they were reared. Part of this involves family background, personal experiences, early exposure to faith, one's cultural surroundings, and the moral character rooted in each one of us. The ability to incorporate all of those elements into our daily lives is what often strengthens society, because chances are the same values are shared by those in our immediate sphere. Conversely, people who came from any different societies are often unable to adapt to a way of life that is not in keeping with their own sensitivities and upbringing. That's what makes Western society so unique. Sadly, not everyone agrees, and in an effort to dominate the culture, more friendly invites may be made with the purpose of voluntarily adopting their ways. Will that end by forceful means? Probably, in the case of Islam. Shalom, Maranatha, and Hallelujah, and stand against this wherever you can. Shalom.